Welcome back. There could soon be a new twist in the legal saga of convicted killer and former lawyer Alex Murdaugh. Murdaugh's attorney will meet with the media at 2:30 p.m. Eastern to discuss their motion for a new trial. They claim to have discovered new evidence alleging a court clerk tampered with the jury by advising them not to believe Murdaugh's testimony. Mr. Murdaugh is currently serving 2 life sentences after being convicted in March for the brutal murders of his wife and son back in 2021. In May, a federal grand jury also returned a 22-count indictment against the former lawyer for bank fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering. Murdaugh also faces 100 state charges, including tax evasion, insurance fraud, and allegedly stealing from clients. Joining me now is criminal defense attorney Lexie Rigden. Lexie, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Are his attorneys simply throwing spaghetti at the wall, or what do you think this means for the attorneys to file this new motion, and what are the implications?
Now, I actually think that this is a pretty strong motion. We've seen this tried in cases before, most recently, like the big high-profile case, the Scott Peterson murder, where he had murdered his wife and unborn son, and there was allegedly a stealth juror in that jury pool. So this type of information can come out years after the fact. In that instance, he wasn't successful, but I think this application by them is actually much more strong, and I don't think that it's frivolous. And I think that it will definitely lead to some type of hearing about whether a new trial is warranted. Whether they're going to be successful remains to be seen, obviously, because once they have their evidentiary hearing about whether there should be a new trial, the prosecution then has the burden of showing that whatever they're alleging was actually harmless, in effect, that the verdict was correct regardless, and that what they're alleging was harmless conduct, which didn't have an impact on what the actual outcome was. But this is also a little bit different because this is allegedly coming from a public official. This is coming from the clerk of the court, who was apparently influencing jurors in a lot of ways, submitting false information to the judge to try to get a juror removed, having private conversations with the jury foreperson, making her opinion known to the jurors about essentially like, don't believe Murdaugh, essentially. So I think that this is actually pretty compelling. Whether it's going to result in a new trial, I don't know, because obviously the prosecution has every incentive to fight this very, very strongly, but it is certainly an interesting development.
So, again, Ms. Rigden, to be clear, you're like Nick, they may have evidence to go forward. They still need to prove that. And then it would be on the state to say, no, even though this did happen, it wasn't enough to influence what eventually became the verdict from the jury. And both of those seem like those are tough roles to hoe.
Yeah, I agree. And they kind of, the defense in their motion actually anticipated that, where they said that Judge Clifton Newman had made a comment when the jury gave their verdict, that they basically gave the only verdict they could have given because it was so clear, and the weight of the evidence was so clear that the jury should have returned a verdict of guilty. And I'm sure the prosecution is going to sink its teeth into that. But as the defense attorneys pointed out, that would essentially mean that if this court clerk had held a gun to the jury member's head and said, vote guilty, and they did, that just because the evidence was strong, then that wasn't harmless. And that's certainly not, that can't be the law. It's not the law. So we're not going to his guilt or innocence right now. What they're trying to do is get a new trial and say, hey, he needs a fair shake. He didn't get a fair shake because there was basically jury tampering by a public official.
Ms. Rigden, we've got about 45 seconds. Talk to me here. What happens next in this process?
Well, the attorneys have also submitted a letter to the court asking for a federal investigation into what happened, saying that Murdaugh has a federally protected right to a fair trial, and that they do not trust SLED, which is a name that we heard a lot earlier in the year, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, to do a fair investigation. So what's going to come next is likely a hearing where the judge is going to have to review, and the jurors and the people that submitted sworn statements about what the clerk of court allegedly did, they're going to have to testify, and the court's going to have a hearing about whether this occurred, and then the prosecution is going to have to rebut that and basically show that regardless of what may or may not have taken place, and again, these are allegations, so I don't know if the prosecution is going to say, yes, this took place, but it's harmless, or no, all of this is inaccurate. But there's going to have to be a hearing, and the judge is going to have to make a determination whether it rises to the level of a new trial.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.